Thought I'd sit outside my study today, since it's a beautiful, peaceful morning here in Devon. And I wanted to talk to you about this 19th gene key again. 19th gene key is part of a group of keys, 3 of them, which collectively are known as the Ring of Gaia. And this is part of the mysterious teachings of the gene keys, called the codon rings. And the Ring of Gaia, those 3 keys hold the secrets of, well, many secrets, but particularly the secrets around the earth and the earth's transformation. That's why I thought I'd sit outside amongst the birds and insects and the dawn. And also because the 19th gene key especially is transmuting, and the way it does that primarily in a way through us, through our lives, is through sacrifice. You know, we live that the 19th gene key, its highest component is sacrifice, holy sacrifice. And sacrifice is a word that many of us are uncomfortable with, and for various reasons. And yet we live in a planet that is only about sacrifice. Every creature is sacrificial on this planet, including us. And the whole nature of life is to sacrifice itself for something higher, to evolve. That is what we do. That's what I mean by sacrifice. The highest form of sacrifice is to sacrifice that which is lower for that which is higher, for that which is purer. So we sacrifice our lower desires on the altar of our freedom, and we receive the reward of the sacrifice. And this is the myth. This is how it plays out. So every creature, in that sense, is bound up in this drama of sacrifice. And particularly right now, in our stage in evolution, we're asked to sacrifice our personal freedoms, our personal wishes, our, all of that in order, for the sake of the whole, for the sake of those, who are vulnerable. And it's interesting, this whole thing about, COVID-19. It's not funny, but it's funny that it's the number 19, and the 19 is the key for sacrifice. And, there's no mistakes in these things. So, I want to invite a contemplation on the true meaning of sacrifice. We each have to find out for ourselves by embodying what it means, and life will bring us opportunities regularly to sacrifice an old view for a new view, an old paradigm for a higher paradigm. And this is what opens us up to higher currents, the divine currents. And you'll see that the gift of the 19th gene key is the gift of sensitivity. So when we surrender to something higher, a higher impulse, and we let go of something that previously we didn't want to let go of, then we receive something in recompense, and it opens us up. So the thing about Gaia is there are layers and layers of sensitivity. And the human being is changing. We are evolving, and our instrumentation, our DNA, is opening up higher faculties to penetrate and pierce and listen to, the etheric world. The etheric world is the subtle world, subtle dimensions that exist behind all things, that exist in these plants, I was sharing this morning with my daughter, it's something I was reading, that every plant has an angel, it has a presence, a divine presence. Every bird, every sound, every colour has a presence, a specific, higher, subtle presence. And Gaia is alive with these subtle presences, these nectars, and everything is surrendering itself on behalf of the whole all the time. Just as this is the game of life and death and rebirth. This is our planet, the planet of sacrifice, holy sacrifice, sweet sacrifice. The other two keys, justice, 60th, and sanctity, inner truth, the 61. These three play a concert together, a symphony, and they're deeply mysterious as the form of the 60 sacrifices itself, the old form to a new form. And then the inner truth shines through. Every sacrifice that we make, the inner truth is revealed to us, another layer of it. And it opens up, and we hear in subtler and subtler dimensions, and we see more, and we become more. We realize that we are connected to all beings through this etheric dimension. So consider this in your life. Consider each day what you are asked to sacrifice, whether it's just something like a bad mood, or a bad word about someone or something that you might have said, but you catch yourself and you offer it up and you go, I'm not going to say that. And that tiny sacrifice is what brings, look at these little guys, is what brings the gift. It's what brings this pure reward, this beauty. Everything we sacrifice, everything lower, we sacrifice to something higher. There's a karmic reward. Justice comes into play, divine justice. So really go deeply into this, because this is something that is opening up in humanity. And our willingness to make these sacrifices on behalf of the whole, so that we break our codependence and come into true, interdependence. That's a very noble activity. So, blessings to you all from beautiful Devon, here amongst the wild and the birds and the bees and the flowers. Wishing you much love.